Welcome to classroom for 5th grade here at Mary Mother Church Religious Ed. I am Mary Wateski, the teacher. We are going to be doing a video presentation today, and we're doing some follow-up material that you'll be picking up. We will be starting to show you around our classroom a little bit. There'll be some pictures of that later for you to see. I'll just briefly run by you how our day goes. The children come at 3:45. They're left off the bus and they're excited to be here. We have a treat. We say a prayer and a little social time. Then we start with our chapter that we're going to be doing. In the first chapter, you're going to be homeschooling your students. It's chapter 19. You'll be getting copies of this via video. And it's the acceptance of others' will. It includes, of other things, the Last Supper. Usually what we do with the students is they read the chapter, we stop, and then we talk and discuss this chapter until they fully understand it, and then we go on to the next chapter. And of course, they have a lot of questions which they ask at that time, we try to answer. The important topic in this is the Last Supper, as you know, where a lot of important things are happening. Jesus gathered his disciples together, and he talked about the forgiveness of sins, the Eucharist. All of it is very well explained. I usually read this whole chapter ahead of time so you are ready to answer the questions, and I help the students as they go, because can be very difficult reading for them, and a lot of times the words are a little hard for them. After the Last Supper, of course, Jesus went to the garden with his disciples, told them about sins and the forgiveness of sins, and Judas also was at this crowd, which is a very important part of the passion of Christ. Scripture and tradition tell us the painful journey Jesus made carrying his cross, and of Mary being involved in his disciples, and of Jesus' passage to the last phase of his passion and leading up to his death. The text includes some pictures and some things that are nice, and there's always 3 questions at the end of the chapter that are self-explanatory, because what we do in the class is answer them with the students, and it answers a lot of their questions. Now, that is in this book that we use, and it's called the Credo, I believe, which we have used all year. It's a blue book which belongs to the parish, and the students do use it in class. We follow that up then with one of 2 things. I always have a colored picture for the students, and this one happens to be the Last Supper. Depending on the mood of the students, which can vary a lot, we color the picture first so they have it alongside when they're reading. They've colored it, they can look at it, refer to it, or we jump right into the reading and do this in between. And then we go to our activity book, which belongs to the students. You will have videos of the questions, and we go to the accepting the Father's will, which again is noted in chapter 19. There's questions like what happened when Jesus came into Jerusalem. We will read that. Did they understand Jesus? How do we know? Simple questions, and then there's a page with the Last Supper explains that, and then another page that explains what Jesus did when he was alone in the garden. They're all wonderfully, all geared to the children. And then the last page is something that the children love. It's a little crossword puzzle. They really get a lot out of it, and it explains a lot, and they really, really love these. That pretty much finishes up what we do as a class. If we're lucky, we got this all in. So about 5 minutes to 5, we start preparing to leave. They put up their chairs. We have a beautiful prayer together. They take their belongings, line up, and they are excused for the day. So that's how a typical class day goes. This has been a wonderful class. They've been very receptive. They're like big sponges. They seem to just absorb so much. The hard part is, as a teacher, I am sad not to be there. And I know you as a parent maybe don't have that technique, but I think it's going to be a wonderful, beautiful technique. Coming from their parents, it may mean more than coming from me as a teacher. But I totally love this class. This is a wonderful, wonderful grade. They are just, like I said, big sponges. They absorb. And then if we're fortunate enough and Father's not busy, Father Kanapa comes in for about 5 minutes, explains. So that's our day.